to the center of everywhere. Welcome to Boats Beneath the Surface.
All right, well, oh my gosh. See, Sean messed me up because he's not doing it this time. Okay.
Welcome to another episode of Beneath the Surface.
There it is.
I am one of your hosts, Sean Murphy, along with Baby Z and No Mercy Skye, and our new friends from Tejas, Milky, and El Cajon.
Whoa, what is up?
How we doing?
Why don't you guys introduce yourselves and who you are and what you do?
I think that was a perfect introduction. I think we should just let that one roll.
I am Milky.
Go ahead, Cannaday.
I'm Mike Cannaday. I'm brand director over at Sendero Provisions Co.
I'm Hunter Harlow. I founder, CEO over here at Sendero Provisions Co. For anyone out there listening, we're a lifestyle apparel brand from Tejas. A little bit Western, a little bit risky, a little bit outdoor, a little bit just or a lot of bit beer.
Did you just say risky?
Risky.
Risky.
Little
Risky
risky.
business. I feel like we're missing out because we don't have any epic westerns right now.
Oh yeah.
Any fast lanes?
We don't have anything.
I'm still off. I'm still off the fast lane. I'm cruise control in the slow lane.
You gotta take it out of the Autobahn, dude.
Hey, look, there it is.
There's a kitty cat.
What was her name again?
Charisse.
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 Now we're just missing Poncho and Lefty.
Oh, we should have brought him.
Oh yeah, that was a
Poncho and
mistake.
Lefty, dude.
That was a mistake.
Yeah, that's on y'all.
Awesome. Well, I think this is going to go along with, recapping this rad trip we just did with you guys and this collaboration that we've got coming out. So before we get into the collaboration and the trip, Hunter, can you talk a little bit about your background with BOTE and kind of how this entire collaboration was kind of full circle for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's just like you said, it's wild to even be like sitting here doing a podcast with you guys. I think back 2016, 2015, I don't know when it was there. 2015, 2016, 2017, somewhere in there. I got hit up to be one of BOTE's early ambassadors at the time. And honestly, I had probably no business being a BOTE ambassador. Y'all got to experience like what we do here. And I was just taking inflatable boat paddle boards and running up and down our Texas rivers and banging into rocks and banging into sticks. And this was pre-Sendero. This was before I was even full-time doing Sendero stuff. And it's funny. I was talking with you, Skye. I did my son's, like, our first baby announcement. It made this stupid video on a boat board right there behind Chris Kaler's house where we were at on the Middle Bosque. We floated all up and down the Brazos River, all up and down the Middle Bosque. I've flown all across the Caribbean and Mexico with the inflatable paddle boards. And then Sendero happened, and 8 years later, here we are doing a collab. So it's just pretty cool. It's been fun watching, at least from Texas too, y'all's kind of migration across the country and internationally too, seeing, how, what I liked back in the early days of just cool colors, cool branding, like really a lot of attention to materials and technology, and you could just tell, like, from the very beginning, they were just like super sturdy boards. I think I ran one over with a truck one time, and like the little nozzle, the valve just completely worked still. Yeah, and so when we first started talking, when was that? I don't know, early this year or last year?
Year and a half ago.
Yeah, a year and a half ago. I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is just full circle, right up my alley, and it's going to be fun just to hang out with you guys, which was, a company that was 4 years of my whole life, pretty much.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to need to see these baby announcement pictures and drop them into the video.
Yeah.
I made this, like, it was just, I was so into, like, GoPros at the time. Like, looking back, it's all just, like, horrible, like, HDR effects. But
that's why we have to see it.
Yeah. I'm, like, overlaid this, they had this, like, this little baby Bjorn thing with this fake baby in it, and I was on the boat board like almost the whole time, like
Oh, I
fly
remember
fishing and
this.
paddling, and every now and then he would like fall off in the water, and I would just pick him off and just like wipe him off. But it was that talking about my best friend song, you know what I'm talking about? Talking about my best friend. And literally it was just like he was like fall in the water, and I'd like catch a fish and like let him like kiss the fish, and then I'd like fake high five him. It was really dumb. I'll have to find that, pull it up for y'all.
I think I've seen a photo. That's about it. I haven't seen the full thing.
Yeah. And then we'll probably drop a link in kind of the show notes too with Laguna Madre. That was one of the projects that you worked on, right, Hunter? We still use those photos and
Awesome.
reference that video today on some catching
Yeah,
fish
that
on
was-
Racamaros back in the day.
It might have been 2017, maybe early 2018. I don't know. I can't remember when that was either. That was the same thing. Like my buddy Andrew Miller, similar perspective at the time of fly fishing and just things in general. It's like we just always just like figuring stuff out for ourselves. It's like, hey, let's just go down and DIY this trip, figure this out, or go to this place and DIY and figure that out. And we're like, hey, let's take paddleboards down to Laguna Madre and just hang out and have fun there at South Padre and catch redfish and trout and mess around and on the flats. And dude, we almost ran over an ocelot on that trip, and they're like
He found one.
critically endangered. Lost out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it's his cousin. Charisse. But that was a fun trip too. And yeah, I
Pet my
like walking
kitty.
all up and down those flats. I forgot about it. That was a really Andrew Miller and Andrew Bidlin, 2 Andrews on that trip. And we just mixed it up with all the locals in South Padre for like a week.
Yeah, the content's awesome. So I think, like a year and a half ago, I think what started is we did a giveaway together, right? I think
Yep.
that's
Yep.
kind of where we kicked off this, the first collaboration we did. And I was like, BOTE's a coastal brand, and I thought it'd be really cool to partner with you guys and just that such a Western Texas vibe. And we just started talking, and you want to talk a little bit about like the inspiration behind the pattern and the collaboration and all the products that we did together?
Yeah, whenever we first started thinking about this, like, all right, how do we combine kind of who we are at Sendero, which is, you nailed it, Southwest, Western, but more like dry, right? Like the opposite of coastal. Like, how do we combine that with BOTE paddleboards, which is, all about the water and all about the coast and everything you can do in and about and recreation on a paddleboard or vessel of some kind. And then I just had this idea. Like the first thing that came to mind was a coyote in one of those like stupid Halloween shark pug costumes. And I was like, oh, dude, if we can get a coyote, put him in a fake Halloween shark costume, and then it just started building from there. It's like, oh, let's put an armadillo ripping a surfboard, but like he's not on a wave, he's on like a sand wave, like on a sand dune. And then it was like, well, what else can we throw in? I don't know, put a lizard in a lounge chair. So we just kind of took these like anthropomorphic elements of like what we thought like the coast looked like, maybe like some kind of iguana or some kind of lizard character, gecko-ish looking thing, and then the fox, and he's obviously desert, and so like I just put him in the shark costume, and then put the armadillo on the surfboard, and it's kind of built from there. And like literally, if you take those 3 animals out, it would be a Sendero design. Like it'd be 100% something that you would see on a Sendero pattern. Insert like a little cowboy there instead of an armadillo, or a scorpion instead of the gecko. But we're like, oh, those things totally bring this full circle like into the coast, to where it's like this fake and imaginary mashup of what we think from our perspective, like what BOTE is here in Texas, and like where we are, running around out in the desert in the Southwest and Four Corners. So yeah, we had a lot of fun making those little animals.
Armadillo surfing is like
the
my
3 of
favorite,
us
for sure.
really connected with them.
Yeah.
And decided you guys just put our personalities into
On the board, for sure.
So who was
pattern.
who was who then?
I guess. Who do you think?
Oh, okay. Oh, let me see here. Sean's the gecko. Sean's the lizard.
He's
He's
the
a
lizard.
lizard.
Yep, 100%.
I'm gonna say Tyler's the fox in the shark costume, or no, opposite. I'm gonna say Skye's the fox and the shark, and Tyler's the armadillo on the surfboard.
That's
Ding
it.
ding ding.
Boom.
Nailed it.
100%, dude.
Nailed it.
Nailed
First
We've been
try.
We've been
With one
calling
mulligan
Sean
there
a
in the
lizard
middle.
forever because he keeps his house at a balmy 78,
Look, I'm wearing a fucking sweatshirt right now.
and it's 90 degrees
literally
outside.
90 degrees
Nice.
outside.
I like it. I like heat.
I think it's 106 here today. I'm
Yeah,
dying.
it's
Texas
steamy
is
out
the
there.
surface of the sun. I switched my coyote shark costume because I instantly when I said it out loud I was like, oh no, Skye had her like, all right, producer mode, all right, staging mode, all right, trip mode, all right, fun mode. I was like, she's on and off with the like,
Yep.
okay, turn it on, turn it off.
Yeah, I look nice, but I didn't get the nickname Scary Skye from Skye Bailey for nothing. So
That's awesome.
Well, so that kind of leads us. Also, if you guys haven't already, if you're listening to this and you haven't checked out all the collaboration products, like do that now because we've got boards and bags, and on the Sendero side, a lot of really rad apparel. So, yeah, check it out. Let us know what you think. Grab some because it's just a limited drop, and we're super happy with the way everything turned out. And that leads us to the shoot that we just got back from. Kind of, it was a full week.
Ball buster.
Yeah. A full week shoot, but it felt like 3 days. I don't know if you guys felt that way, but we were like, it was like, it just flew by. We had a great time. And the original concept was 3 rivers, 3 barbecue joints in 3 days. And we kind of had to call an audible in the beginning because you guys have been having some crazy weather in Texas this season. And Mike was like, yeah, I think we should paddle the first day. Like, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Let me just say we drove the bus, like basically 24 hours, the boat creative bus to get there. And
Pulled it off
like,
of the repair lot, right? Like you're done working on it, we're leaving.
Literally, we left late because we were like waiting on air conditioning, and I was like, I'm not riding to through Texas with no AC.
No AC.
Did we get AC?
Kind of.
Sort of, right?
It was that in my book. That was
The
that was
sad
AC.
thing is when I brought it back, the guy looked at it and it took him 3 minutes to fix it. He goes, dude, all I needed was 3 more minutes. It was just one wire that was needed. One wire. He just needed to go.
You're out of time. We
Oh,
gotta
man.
go. So we rigged up like this portable AC unit from Home Depot.
It was Walter White boat bus.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we were
Fully.
cooking some things in that bus.
But we made it, and we were cool. We didn't look cool, but we felt cool.
Felt cool.
But yeah, we rolled in, and Mike was like, guys, it's about to start raining. And we were like, we don't care. But apparently in Texas, if it rains, it floods. This is like the lesson we learned. So we just like rolled in and started shooting. And do y'all want to talk about a little bit about the place we shot the first day?
Hit him with the weather changes, Canada.
Oh my gosh, like it was even the week
Coming in
leading
with
up
the
to
weather, Mike, Milky.
Milky.
Yeah.
Milky.
Even the week leading up to it, I was like freaking out every day because I was looking at a forecast for the next week that was 1.5 inches of rain every single day and thunderstorms every single day. And I was like, my gosh, these guys are about to drive halfway across the country to come do a photo shoot on rivers, and it's going to rain the whole time and thunderstorm the whole time. And pretty much up until the moment y'all left, I was like, I don't know, this is going to be dicey. And then y'all like, all right, we're leaving, we're pulling out. I was like, okay, we're doing it. We're going to figure it out. We're going to make this thing work. But May was, I don't know, historic rain for us. Like since 1902, I think we
had the rainiest 30 days since they started recording precipitation in 1902. Wow, we had 15 and a half
That's
inches of rain,
insane.
and I think the next record was like 1960s, 1965 or something like that. It was at 15. It just smashed it. Like Waco, we're still underwater. We got like 2 inches yesterday.
I think the lake is still 18 feet above full pool.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, y'all rolled in, and we went straight to the Middle Bosque. We like, hey, I'm Hunter. I'm Mike. Nice to meet you. Let's jump on a fast-moving river.
Day one was supposed to be just like you know, seeing the boards, unwrapping the boards, hanging out at HQ, kind of intro stuff, and then the river day was gonna be the next day, like kind of ease into it. And then we were looking at the forecast. We're like, we've got to do the river today because it's gonna rain overnight and the river's gonna flood and we won't be able to hit it in Waco. So yeah, we swapped them straight into it.
Well, and we were all glad we did, because y'all drove over that river the next day or next evening, I guess a day and a half later technically. Yeah. But it was where we took out on that river with you guys on the first day. Not to get ahead of ourselves here, but I think it was up like 15 feet, 18 feet. So it was like you could stand in the river. It was like 4 feet deep. And then that same day, the next day, 24 hours later almost, it had been 24 feet deep.
No exaggeration. It was the craziest. I was like, there's no way, because we were paddling down and there was already some like damage from previous flooding.
All the debris that was like up in the
trees. I'm like, how? And then literally, a day and a half later, it's up to almost to the bridge, like 15. That was, I like still in mind blown by the amount of rain y'all got. But that river was not nice to us, I will say.
Yeah, so day one was Middle Bosque and Hellberg Barbecue. And so you got to tell them about, I mean, you've been floating the Middle Bosque for years and years and years, and it's a little different than normal.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, that's my river. That's like my home river for sure. And it's just funny because like when it floods, back pre-kids, so like 8-10 years ago, my buddy Chris Kaler would always come and say, hey, river's up, you want to go float it? And we would take our boat boards, our inflatable boat boards, and go down there and just flood stage, roll the river. And like we would go and like, not what you saw driving the bridge, but it was way worse. And we went out, it wasn't clear, it'd be chocolate milk, we're dodging trees, be in full wetsuits just because you're going to fall and hit a rock, and it was like protection from hitting the rocks. But I knew when we were going to go out that it was going to be, it was going to be moving. Like it was going to be, decently moving river, little riffles and stuff between. Every now and then there's some chutes and pools. But what I didn't know is, like, I guess I didn't even think about it, like what the river would look like from the flood. Is there going to be trees or branches hanging over the entirety of the river? You're not going to be able to go through it. But I mean, those boards too with a fin on it, when that water is 6 inches deep, if you just catch one little rock with that thing, you're moving 10 miles an hour on the surface of the water. You catch a rock, your body's going to keep moving 10 miles an hour, and the board's going to stop.
Yeah, which it did a lot of times.
Sean knows about being ejected.
Ejecto seat. But I don't know. I was just used to that too. I didn't even think about it. But I mean, I don't know. You guys saw that river. It's a beautiful river right here in Waco, and no one really cares or knows about it.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. And I mean, all the gar and bass and like, it was such a cool spot to paddle. I think right here is where we insert the video of Milky almost dying, trying to help save.
trying to help after I almost tried to die.
Help.
Explain it, Cannaday, from your perspective.
Oh my gosh.
It starts with Sean. It starts with Sean.
Yeah, I didn't even see the Sean part. I mean.
Oh, yeah, we were cruising around a corner. Let's be real. It wasn't dangerous. It was like a category 0.5. Like it was not threatening at all.
It's like it was like
we went around it, but we didn't have fins in the board, so it was hard to control the board. And I kind of went through a tree and tried to push off, and I heard a crack, and I watched my paddle break in half instantly. And as I look back, I see just Tyler's board sideways, just as it's about to fold under a tree limb, and his face looking at me like, hell.
Lose like, all the camera gear in the lawsuit.
Like, help. And I'm just holding up my paddle like. And that was the last I saw of anyone for about 30 minutes. I heard screams. I just pictured everyone piling up under a tree and drowning, and I was the only survivor.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, it wasn't insane. It just like the whole river went under just a down tree.
Yeah.
It was like, embarrassing.
It was.
Let's be honest.
It was embarrassing in equal parts. I'm so glad it happened.
Yeah. But I just videoed everybody almost drowning, and I'm so glad I did.
I rewatched it, and I mean, it's thigh deep, but the terror,
I felt as much as I was.
So childish.
It was thigh deep, but it was moving so fast in that spot. It had, it was
Yeah.
a bottleneck. I mean, you couldn't just stand up in it.
Yeah.
Like
No.
if it was flowing and you tried to stand up, you just fall and just float down and stand up.
Isn't that
again.
right, Milky?
Yeah. Well, I see the board just wedged up under the tree, and Hunter is also in the tree, just trying to kick the board out of there.
I thought
and
we'd lost Hunter.
Tyler's
Help me,
also-
Tom Cruise.
Help me, Tom.
Help me, Tom Cruise.
Tyler's like pulling on the board too, and I'm like, oh, I need to go help these guys. And so I just start walking into the river, and then I get to where the tree is, and I'm just like, oh shoot, like I'm in trouble. Like I can't move. Like
You're going.
So I'm like now holding onto the tree. Now I need help along with the board needing help. And there was a moment where I just was like, I can't do anything right now. I am just completely stuck right here. And I think I turned over to Skye, our buddy, he's like whitewater certified, guided on the whitewater. And I was like, dude, I need help. I'm stuck. I need help right now. And Skye came out and put his hand out, and we held hands for a little bit, and he pulled me out of there. But I think my face kind of says it all right there. It was a no shoot moment for sure.
Oh yeah, after you showed us that video, Skye, I think I showed y'all the picture when I zoomed in on Cannaday's face when it was just like dumb ways to die. Like, he was going. He was
I was
going.
there.
But we survived. We
Oh.
all survived.
Yeah, everything got knocked off, like water bottles, koozies, hats,
Camera gear.
all my camera equipment. Luckily, it was sealed up, and my water housing's just floating down the river.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was like
could have been
what?
a lot worse on the equipment for sure.
Oh yeah, and then it was 20 minutes later. I see my orange water bottle in a calm spot of the river, just floating right in the middle of the river.
Yeah, and then I think Hunter, you were like, "Is that your koozie?" And my koozie had like sunk in the water.
Right where we found my water bottle.
Yeah, they were together,
Yep.
and I found it, and I got
It was just
back.
sitting on the. I don't know how it made it all the way there and then sunk, but yeah,
And then Sean hopped on Skye, or got Skye's paddle, and Skye got
Yeah.
a free ride all the way back.
I was passenger princess the last probably mile.
Yeah.
because Sean broke
I
his
had to,
paddle.
yeah, just
He was like gondola.
he was a gondola.
You were still going faster than me paddling without a paddle, though. I mean, you were kicking my butt with a stick.
Oh man. No, the best was that one rapid where Hunter's in front of me and he's going, "We're not sitting down. We're not sitting down." And I'm like, "Oh, we're not? Okay." And I'm like, "I'm going to do this. I'm staying standing." And there's just these two guys on the hill watching it, and I just fully eat shit. And it's just like carnage and lose everything. And I'm like, "Fucking Hunter, just
Oh man, your board was stuck there too. It was like a
Yeah.
little like shelf, and the whitewash had kind of just kept the board in place. And I was like, I guess I get the board, and I just looked up at those two old boys, and I was just like, "That was pretty funny, right?" And they were just like, "Oh yeah, that was good. That was good. Y'all are idiots." But I mean, that's far and few
That's
between
Texas,
for these
baby.
rivers in Texas. They're mostly, I mean, that river. I mean, honestly, now it probably looks right now after it was up when you guys were here a week ago. It looks now like it did when we were out there. That's how fast they come down. And then in another 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it's going to be completely flat and stagnant, and it might even be like dry in between the bigger pools. So you've got to take advantage of that coolness when it's there if you want some fun action. But yeah, I mean, you guys saw the fish on that river, the gar literally everywhere, 5 foot, 4 foot gar right below you, carp and buffalo and suckers and white bass and bass everywhere. It's a healthy fishery. So I mean, that's why we like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rad. And then we got to eat barbecue at Hellberg, which was top notch.
Yeah,
So good.
Oh yeah.
he does
Yes,
it
that
right.
was the whole Three Rivers, 3 barbecue joints was kind of like, let's do just 3 iconic kind of Texas locations, like North Central Texas, Austin-ish, and then out more west, out in the western Central Texas. So it's kind of a Central Texas tour, really. And Central Texas is like the capital of Texas barbecue as well.
Yeah.
And so, can't even tell me about Hellberg.
Yeah, I mean, Hellberg Barbecue it's like a minute down the road from HQ. So we've known those guys since they were a food truck parked outside of one of our coffee shops, and we're just good friends with the owners of it. We've done collab with them before, and I don't know, Philip's just a great buddy of ours and makes incredible barbecue. So it's like when y'all were coming to Waco, we're like, well, we have to go to Hellberg Barbecue. They were on the Texas Top 50 list one year. I mean, they're just top notch. What was y'all's opinion of it? I mean, y'all don't really have a ton of barbecue in Florida.
Hellberg was.
We have Sonny's barbecue.
Sonny's, baby.
Sonny's.
Hellberg, is that how you say it?
Yeah, Hellberg.
That was the best one.
Spoiler alert.
You can stop listening to the podcast now. If anyone out there's,
Can I say that?
Oh, yeah.
Is that bad?
You're
Yeah,
endorsing.
that dude had the best presentation. His
sides
food
were-
his food was very pretty, and it was very, 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 very tasty.
This is coming from somebody who doesn't eat.
I don't eat, so it was good.
Yeah, it was. The sides were amazing. The watermelon thingy and the corn thingy. It was all.
Mm-hmm. And a couple of red pills and blue pills to wash
red
it all
pills
down.
and blue pills.
So good.
So was that whole spread, Canada? We had some moist brisket.
Yep.
Had pork ribs. We had pork steak, jalapeno cheese sausage.
Pesto turkey.
No, I think we got the
did?
chicken instead of pesto
Chicken.
turkey. We got
We did the smoked chicken,
smoked
flash
chicken.
fried chicken.
Yeah. Sides? What were the sides?
The was it the watermelon blueberry feta cheese situation?
Oh, yeah. That thing was wild.
Street corn,
Street corn, mac and cheese.
mac and cheese,
some
classics.
Yep. And that's like, I don't know, that's a solid spread right there. It's like in Texas, like barbecue, sausage, or like the top two, or sorry, brisket and sausage. Like brisket, Texas is known for our beef brisket. That's like what we do here. Slow smoked Texas beef brisket. And sausage, kind of that German Czech influence is everywhere. But then pork ribs is just like classic barbecue across the country, kind of ubiquitous.
Spare ribs.
Spare ribs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not baby back ribs.
Not baby back ribs.
You're making me
I was
hungry.
about to say I'm hungry.
Oh, look at the cat. He's ready. He's in. He's about to pounce on that barbecue. I'll never get that visual out of my mind of Tyler. Like, we'd been all of like 4 hours into the first day or second day, and Tyler's just standing over the table, just like photographing the barbecue top down. Like, this is going to be a fun week.
Yep.
Do anything for the shot.
Yeah, I'll send you that photo.
You got? Oh yeah, you took that. I was like, I saw it somewhere.
Cell phone, baby. I'm cell phone snapping.
Well, so we'll fast forward next day. Won't get too much into it. We did like a lot of stuff just like around the headquarters. We did some interviews at Cody's house. We got tacos, which were incredible. And then
Oh yeah.
that was kind of our down day, which is like
was still a 16-hour day.
Which is like kind of the
and
most
then-
jam-packed day, really, in a way. Because like at least with the river, you've got like a 4-hour stretch where it's like this is the river. This was just like run and gun everywhere. We were going all around the place.
Yeah, that was like our
That was our work day.
I mean, they're all
I
work,
guess.
but like that was our like filler day where like it's like the boring stuff, but the meat of it, if that makes sense. So, then day 3, we went to
The San Marcos.
San Marcos, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So y'all want to talk a little bit about that river and who we were with that day and all that good stuff.
Hit it.
Yeah, so that we hit up Cassio, one of our buddies, Cassio Silva. He's a guide in the area, super cool dude. We've known him for years, and that particular stretch they call the Green Mile, aptly named for like that really beautiful kind of green, emerald green water they had there. So that's like we floated that section with him before, just super cool section. And it's like overhanging
Much
brush.
easier than the
Yeah,
the
a little-
flow of the Milwaukee.
Remember before that
So
day, I was like, by the way,
leisurely
this river's going to be
compared.
like way more mellow than yesterday. In fact, every river we hit from here on out will be more mellow than the Middle Bosque. Yeah, so that's San Marcos River. Beautiful. I mean, tons of fishing too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
caught a lot
yeah.
of
We had-
fish.
Had Slim down there again.
Yeah.
Skye, Wayne, Young, a.k.a. Slim.
Because we already had a Skye.
Yeah.
Because we already had
two
Skye.
of us.
Yeah. No, he did not get a hold on that name very long. I think Sean very quickly gave everyone nicknames. Yours didn't find you till what, the last day?
It was like, I feel like after the second day, probably after y'all looked at all the footage and photos, and y'all were like, "Oh, that dude's pale." And then Sean was like, "Milky, that's your name." And by the fourth day, when I was sunburned, it was Strawberry Milky.
Strawberry Milky.
Strawberry milkshake.
That stretch of the San Marcos is fun too, and that just for like anyone that's unfamiliar with that area, that whole stretch probably from Austin down to New Braunfels and south of there, go west even a little bit. There's just tons of rivers that just crisscross I-35 and out in the hill country there. There's the Lower Colorado, the San Marcos, San Gabriel, all these creeks, Brushy Creek, Onion Creek that people hit all the time that kind of feed into those. The Guadalupe River, the northern, the upper Guad, lower Guad, all kinds of stuff. And it's a lot of it's spring fed in the north area, not so much, but the southern area down there in like New Braunfels, it's all like comes straight out of the groundwater. And there's just huge, like they're almost lakes, like Ocarina Springs down there in San Marcos, Texas. You pull up and it just looks like this crystal clear. You can see 30 feet down to the bottom, and there's just like these sand geysers at the bottom of it, and just fish everywhere because water's just pumping out into these things, and that stuff feeds into all these rivers. And then probably right about now, as of maybe a month ago, we have what we call the tube hatch down there. That's when all the boozers and the tubers come out and float the rivers, and that's like a rite of passage in Texas. Is like when growing up was like, okay, the summer, what river are we gonna go float and tube? That section of San Marcos isn't really that, but there's parts of San Marcos where you can do that on, and then on the Blanco and the Colorado Guad. But I think that 120-mile stretch from northern Austin all the way down to San Antonio is just like peak Texas tributaries and water, and I think everyone that grows up in that spectrum of the state has some association with the water, which is so cool that you guys have your shop in Austin now, which we were there last year for the opening of that. Super cool store right in the heart of Lady Bird Lake there in Austin, and it's so perfect because I feel like everyone in Texas has this association with these slow moving kind of low boil type waters, and that it's just blue green crystal clear through there. And it was a lot of fun. It's fun showing you guys that area of San Marcos too, or southern Austin, almost San Marcos.
2 hours south of Waco.
You
could hit it a day, and that was part of the reason behind it too. Is like focusing on waters that we could do day trips on, and we do weekend and day trips going to. So you could wake up early, shoot down there an hour and a half, 2 hours, fish the river, go grab tacos or barbecue, and like hit home. It's kind of like. That's how we sort of mapped these out and picked the rivers we did.
Yeah, and that was the kind of the hinge point of the whole concept of the trip, Home Waters, right? It's kind of what we're calling the project, was that from Waco and certainly from Austin, even more so from Austin. It's like you can pick anywhere within a 200-mile radius, go hit it, go check out a town, hit a river, get a barbecue joint, get tacos, catch a concert that night, stay, little one-night weekend trips anywhere in around Central Texas, and like full blown, Texas is all about outdoor community spaces, concerts. Rivers are awesome in Texas because they're public up to the high water mark, and so if you can navigate them in statute and in fact, that's in quotes. I don't know what that means. Then you can take, you can paddleboard, you can walk at the bottom, you can anchor, do whatever you want to do. And so for people into, fly fishing like we are, or just general adventure or fun, you can explore a lot of the state. And it was cool sharing, those first 2 days with you, because those were perfect snapshots into what a lot of people miss when they roll through Texas. They're probably either going from Texarkana to Amarillo or Houston to El Paso, or they're going up and down 35 somehow. Yeah. And kind of, literally under the highway are these epic rivers and stuff that people really don't have much experience with if they're not from Texas. And that's similar to every other state, but I mean, those 2 days were like very kind of quintessential Central Texas, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
They're rad, and we capped off an awesome day of paddling with more barbecue. That-
more
that
barbecue.
spot,
Lockhart,
like,
Texas. I mean, that's
the
like,
vibe. What was the name of the barbecue restaurant again?
Lockhart.
Smitty's.
Or Smitty's.
In
Yeah.
Lockhart.
In
Smitty's
Lockhart.
Market.
That was like the coolest vibe, I think. Like, you walk into this room
And there's just open fire.
there's just literally like a fire on the ground, and that's where the smoker is, and they're pulling the meat out and cutting it where you buy it, and the whole room is black from all the smoke and the years of smoking in there. It was wild. I've never seen anything like that before.
You couldn't make. There's two reasons. You couldn't make a room like that now if you wanted to. One, because it would take 50 years to do it. But two, the FDA is not going to let you do it now. You can't. You literally can't do it. So it's like that town has so much history with barbecue. There's three or four even. I don't know. You can really cut the pie here. Just major barbecue families that originated with their shops in Lockhart, right outside of Austin, and that whole hub has just kind of grown and spilled over into Central Texas. In some sense, they kind of led the charge with what Central Texas barbecue is. Actually, almost exclusively.
Yeah.
But Lockhart, I mean, you say Lockhart in Texas, people know what you mean, and they know you mean barbecue, and it's pretty wild. It's like it gets pretty tribalistic pretty quick. There's like the people that like this one, the people like this one, the people like this one, and even the families in between those don't really, there's history there. I don't know the full history, but like they're the same way. So it's like depending on what side of the aisle you fall on, it's like, oh no, I like the sausage at Smitty's. Or like, no, I'm a cruise guy. Or
Which the sausage at Smitty's,
it was
unmatched.
Yeah, that was
Excellent.
great.
unmatched.
They
Oh,
also like they just it's just the craziest concept to me, because there's really nothing I feel like that. How it's like they pull it out, they cut it up, and they put it on paper,
and they just hand it to you.
They hand you just
It's
a wad of meat in paper. Like, they don't even wrap it. It's just like, here's your sack of meat
on a
like
50-year-old
craft paper.
scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild. And then they also hand you a whole bag of white bread, which I'm like,
And a roll of
It's like-
crackers, too.
here, and crackers.
It probably, you guys, doesn't leave much to the imagination anymore of why we look like we do here in Texas when they just hand you that whole freaking thing of white bread and crackers and banana
crackers
pudding
And grease.
grease
just
and
fat.
choke it down with 1,000 grams of protein.
Sean pulled up a picture while we were talking.
That was Cooper's.
Oh,
Oh,
no, the
yeah.
one before
No,
this.
the
Oh,
last-
yeah.
Hunter brought an accessory on the river that day.
Oh yeah. Sean's background was the San Marcos.
Oh yeah.
We had a
Yeah, there we go.
I got.
getting milky day.
He got gotten, dude. Look at that.
He got gotten.
That was a
gotten.
first for me, getting lassoed on a paddleboard.
He's lucky I didn't pull his feet and hands up in time
Yeah.
together.
Hog time.
Yeah, hog
Put
time
me back
right
in the
there
river.
dude. Just yeah, I
Yeehaw.
put my that's my grandpa's team roping rope. So it's like my grandpa was a team roper. Did rodeo stuff up, occasionally. Not wasn't like what he was known for, but I grew up as a little kid, occasionally up there in West Kansas, watching him do rodeos, and I got the chance to have two of his ropes a long time ago when he passed, and I was like, oh, this is great. It's been really fun, like incorporating little bits of my like West Kansas family into all of our like Sendero shoots. Like, we're loosely Western, like you guys have kind of seen that. And so it's like, oh, we've kind of just started bringing ropes wherever we go now.
Yep.
And no matter what, it's like, I'm going to find someone's going to get lassoed. Someone's going to get
Usually me.
ankled.
I'm a target usually.
Yeah, getting healed. And we won't, I don't want to spoil the magic of that photo, but that was like the 8th attempt.
It's such a good sequence of photos. I've actually been cracking up looking at all the photos. Which the next day, I don't know if there's anything else I want to talk about in there, but
No, then we just walked around Lockhart and shot a bunch of. Oh, Hunter went
Hunter
in
did.
and bought a whole new outfit from this guy
Wardrobe
from a
change.
store. Got you
I was,
a hat and
I was
a shirt.
significantly less fast lanes in. and but enough to buy a whole Texas wardrobe. I walked in this awesome.
I didn't even know you went in there.
Oh, I just disappeared, dude.
I was trying to make sure people didn't park on
went
that
on a
street.
journey. Disappeared in that
All
little
that.
Western shop and found some stuff coming home with me. And you guys were just sitting out there in front of the old historic Lockhart courthouse, taking photos in the middle of the road. And I was like, "Give me that board."
And then you were
Walked out with a
directing
new
traffic.
hat.
Those are some of the
funniest.
best footage and photos of you just directing traffic with this paddleboard, and people were stopping and were just
Honking.
Yeah.
Lockhart didn't know what was going on.
No, they're not, dude. They're not too far from Austin. They see a lot.
There you are.
right there. Yeehaw, cowboy. Look at that. Here, cheers to that. This is for the sound effects. Everyone listening at home, this is ASMR presented by Boat Boards. Oh.
I thought you already
Let's get some
cracked that.
I
sippage
did,
in there.
but I didn't open it all the way. So there was a lot less. I kind of halfway opened it, and I was like, oh, I need to put that on the microphone. and then it just sounded like a snap.
I thought you had lapped me.
No, I didn't lap you.
So the next day was like probably our like longest day, but I would say the most like
Fruitful.
yeah. It started at the taxidermy.
Okay, so back up. So
yeah.
the whole 3 days before that, maybe like actually 3 days before that, Sean was like, "Hey, do you got anyone that like has like a coyote or
Got
like
this idea.
I got like there's some like cool taxidermy. Like I think it'd be just super cool. I've got these ideas." And we're like, not really. And then the first stop when we roll in, Cooper's is gonna open in like 12 minutes. So we're killing some time. Literally across the road is this 800 square foot taxidermy shop.
Old school taxidermy shop. Been there for forever.
Yeah, and y'all two walked over there first.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, you pointed it out. You're like, "Hey, what about those guys over there? You think maybe they'd have one?" And we're like, "Well, we can go try."
Yeah. Yeah, and then we walked over and we look in the window and there's like the perfect coyote hunched over and like some other bullshit. And you called the number on the thing and somehow whatever pheromones were going through the phone or whatever was happening, you said, and I quote, I heard her go, he goes, "How much you want for the coyote?" And then there's a pause and he looks at me and goes, $100? And he goes, "Cool." And then some lady comes down, and once he sees Milky in person, it's really on. So then he goes, how about 50 for the bobcat? And then how about $20 for these two skunks? And Tyler goes, "How much for the raccoon?" She goes, $400. She wasn't feeling the blonde hair, little bleach blonde Barbie boy.
He was laying it down.
She wanted the milky cowboy.
She wanted a strawberry milkshake.
For $200, we got all of that taxidermy.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I remember.
everybody's like, "I'm the only one with cash," and everybody's like,
Yeah.
It's in there begging for cash. Who's got cash?
"Can we have some more money for more taxidermy?" I'm like, nobody's gonna believe this that we just spent $200 on the most amazing taxidermy purchases.
And
I remember calling
and
her.
now
And
we've
I've
got-
never like bought used taxidermy before. I have no idea what the used taxidermy market is like.
Oh, you're built for it.
And well, the
built
thing was,
for it.
I was like, we're doing this photo shoot. We'd like to rent or maybe buy one of your animals if that's okay. And she's like, "Well, yeah, which one?" So the coyote, and she was like, I was like, "How much?" She's like, "Make me an offer." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" And I mute it, and I'm like, "Dude, I don't want to offend her. I don't know how much." And I was just like, "I don't know, $100 for the coyote." And I just long paused. Sean and I were both just cringing, like,
Oh,
dude.
I walked away because I was like,
Yeah, we
"Oh,
couldn't do
you
it."
just insulted her."
And she was like, after like, I mean, it felt like a minute, and she's like, "Yeah, that'll work. Cash?" I was like, "Yeah, cash. Yes, ma'am." She's like, "Okay,
Which we
that'll
didn't
work."
have at the moment.
Yep. I was like, "We'll find it." And then Sean, you were like, "Oh, the bobcat."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What about that bobcat?
Shatteries.
The bobcat right there next to it. I'm look at this bobcat next to the coyote." She's like, "Yeah, that one's for sale." I was like, "Well, how much?" She's like, make me an offer. I was like, oh gosh. I was like, well, the bobcat, he's about half the size of the coyote. We paid $100 for the coyote. How about $50 for the bobcat? Less long of a pause, and she's like, I'll do that. That'll be fine. She's like, I'll be there in 2 minutes. I was like, okay. And then she rolled around on the golf cart,
rolls down the single hill in Llano, Texas, on her little golf cart straight up to the place and let y'all in.
Yeah, we saw the skunk, so I was like, well, how about 40 for the skunk? And that came out of my mouth, and I was like, I'm gonna overpay for this skunk right now. And she's like, 40 will work. And I was like, no, you can't split them up. They're a pair. They're buddies. We got to do 40 for the pair. And she's like, yeah, we can do that. We'll do that. So I was just wheeling and dealing. And then she said $400 for the raccoon. And I was like, oh no, we're going to another universe of pricing right now. Like, we've got a lot.
Yeah, I was like, man, this is cheap. I was like, well, I'm gonna get me a raccoon. I was like, we can live in the bus. I was like, and then I'll put it in my house. And I was like, how much for that raccoon? She goes, $4. And I was like, 4.
I thought she was like, it's 4 years old.
I was like, I was like 4.
And then
40.
Cody asked
She goes
about a fish,
400, and I was like
$650.
oh yeah, whatever
After
Milky's got going on with her, she don't want none of this.
After the first 3 animals, I was like, we're about to buy this whole freaking store. I was like, that buffalo's coming with us. That freaking elk's coming with us. So I don't care how much money Skye has. We're using it all.
Yeah.
I was fully prepared.
I was like, Skye, do you have cash? And you're like, yeah, I got cash. How much do you need? And I was like,
And it's like,
200.
just, yeah.
Mom, money.
Mom,
I want
mommy.
a skunk, please.
So moral of that story is, if you just really, really, the bottom of your heart want taxidermy, it will find you. Yo, there he is. There's a taxidermy cowboy right there.
It's a good look for you, Sean.
I got diabetes.
Diabetes.
And then we went straight from the taxidermy to more meat comas.
More barbecue.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Old Cooper's in Atlanta.
That might be Cooper's. Might have been my favorite just because of the gravy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, a little au jus they serve with
little
it there.
au jus.
I
So
think Cooper's, like, they're like the big long longitudinal like pits they have there, and they pump that smoke in, right? Like that is like super cool. Smitty's intro is like iconic. But sitting there at the Cooper's, and it's all outside. There's like the wrought iron fences, and the cast iron fences are all painted. And then like the front little like serving area where they have all the meat that you can choose from, and you're like, oh, I can see it all. It's all like sitting right there. That's super cool. But again, they get you there because like you're like, I want a half pound of this or this, and they just eyeball it, and then you go inside. And then you go through the line, and they're like, well, you're going to have to reverse mortgage your house.
Yeah, next thing you know, you spent $350 on meat.
On meat.
But the beans are free.
Beans are free.
Beans are free.
Jalapenos are free.
And the bread.
And the bread.
And more bread.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they do have the big vat of jalapenos, which I also
Mm-hmm.
like.
Yeah, those are good.
And they do a steak there, too. They do a ribeye.
we got smoked ribeye at Cooper's.
This is now a food podcast. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah.
Well, this is it's the fuel for the second half of the day, which we haven't even. I wasn't really there. Y'all were there.
You were there in spirit.
At least not in mind, maybe in body.
Yeah, but in between there, we stopped at the general store. Y'all remember the general store?
Oh yeah.
I was telling my husband about the big cock we saw.
That's right.
I'm sure he
Randy
loved
had
that
some-
story.
Randy had some stories.
Randy's big cock.
That was, and like I had no idea about that place. Slim, who had been there before, was like, guys, we have to stop.
He was really into it. He talked about it about 5,000 times. He gave us the replay like 1,000 times. Oh, I just told Milky we need to stop. Bet those guys want to see it. And that place is. What's the guy's name that owned the place?
Randy.
Roger?
Randy.
Randy.
Mayor of Castile.
Strandola, yeah.
And then Slim kept going on. He was like,
There's
I spent my 40th birthday here, and he goes, and then we spent our time there, and then he goes, man, I'm really glad you guys got to meet him. And I was like, do you know that? Like, are you really good friends with this guy? He's like, no. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I've just met him one time.
Just
It's
one
been on
time.
that one time.
I think it lived up to the hype though.
I was
I
all
mean,
about
that
it.
place was wild.
I had fun. He was sitting there talking about like this is a general store, and I'm on the city commissioner, the commissioner board. There's 12 people in town. Darlene had a baby. You know, we have church there in the back. I'm like Bloody Marys for church, and yeah, it was awesome.
They had a price list listed there. It was like $50 for weddings.
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
I was
man,
like,
can you imagine?
Randy's got his own little business, own thing
Well,
going on.
As soon as we rolled up, there was a dude just coincidentally sitting there in a Sendero shirt. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna go up and just like say something to this guy. And it was a couple and another girl, and then old Randy sitting there. And I didn't know, I had never been there. Skye was the only one that had ever been there, and or Slim. And I was like, I'm gonna go talk to this guy just because he's got a Sendero shirt. I'm just kind of chit chatting with them, and then old Randy didn't miss a beat. Just looked right up, and was like, "Hey, you owe me money." And I was like, "Oh yeah, pardon me, sir, but I don't know if I've introduced myself." You know, and he was like, "Say, yeah, I heard you're going down to the river, and that river over there. I pissed in it all night to get the water level up for you guys, and you guys owe me a bunch of money." It's like it set the tone for the next 45 minutes.
You learned about the Testicle Festival.
Testicle Festival.
Oh yeah, we just missed it.
Yeah.
For anyone listening, it's a cow thing. Or a steer, or turning them into steers.
Yeah,
Not to be confused
that was a
with
cool
Randy
stop.
Randy
Taco
said
rooster.
that the Testicle Festival was a hit and everyone had a ball.
Yeah. That was all pre-paddleboarding for the day.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, such a busy day. Yeah, and then we went to the river, which was super cool. I mean, I think like geographically, is that the right word?
Sure.
It was like red rocks. They all three looked completely different, which was really cool. But this one, yeah, big red rock cliffs. There was a lot of people hanging out. We did some paddling, and then some cliff jumping.
We shot a lot of content for us that we
Yeah,
needed.
yeah, a lot of content shot, and then you guys made us river tacos.
We're
Y'all
on this paddleboard barbecue trip, and coincidentally, the entire time we talked about tacos.
The entire time.
I was like, guys, y'all are gonna have to make tacos as much as you talk about tacos, but they were next level,
Phenomenal.
That
Hunter-
whole section of that river is like, it's more arid there in Llano, right? A lot less rainfall. It's more like you guys, you know, where you droned there, Tyler, through those like low grass kind of prairie land with small live oaks and mesquite trees and wildflowers everywhere, and deer running through all the little nooks and crannies. That's like, you know, what they make, you know, paintings of, oil paintings in like Central Texas. Like you go to Fredericksburg to buy a picture of that, right? And so that section is just, it's cool. There's a river there because it's really dry. And the fact that we had water in it could actually do cool things there was fun.
More water than normal with all the rain.
Oh, Randy put there
Randy,
for us
all night long.
all night long. But no, the red rocks are super cool. And if we had more time to kind of go up and down, and there's big cliffs on that thing too. Yeah, and it gets ripping too. I mean, like there's been floods there. It's just, like you said, when it rains in Texas, it floods. I mean, I've seen that thing, and it looks like, you know, it's just like when like the African like prairies flood, right? Or like down in the savannah when like the rivers all come up, it just looks like a marshland. Like that whole thing floods, and it's like, oh, it's the Congo River running through the. It's like it's dangerous.
300 yards wide.
Oh yeah, it gets
instead
rough.
of 20.
Yeah, and then we treated y'all as a Sendero Taco. I feel like the switch just like flipped, and it was like Sendero Taco mode.
Yep. I mean, we just went into autopilot because it's like what we do. It's the Sendero tacos. It's like, I don't know. It's a thing. It's
What's a cutting surface? What can cut? Whose hands are empty?
yeah. Someone get a fire going. Someone get the plancha on it. Someone make pico. I mean, it's something.
It
else.
was so good.
Yeah, that's I don't
there
know.
you are, right there. You're,
Oh, right there. Look at that little
You're just sitting on a log and eat
Just-
tacos by yourself.
just a little taco nymph sitting on a log eating a little Texas taco boy.
And I think the ride back, because we had
Oh Lord.
Were you there, Hunter?
We had Cody and Hunter in the bus with us, and then Slim and Milky were in a separate car. On the way back, we had a really gnarly storm, and it started hailing to the point that the bus was about to get blown over. We were like, we should probably pull over and wait this one out. There was a weather report involved.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. It's raining. I don't know. I don't know why Cody just started running up and down the road.
Well, he just took all of his clothes off and he just started running.
I think I'm assuming it was like, when you're doing a news report and there's always some rando in the background.
Yeah.
Streaking. I think that's what he was inspired by, maybe. I have no idea, but it was fun.
There's a lot going on in this photo. There's drama, suspense, all the above, dude.
Conflict.
Yeah, conflict, absurdity, impending doom. Skye is just like, save yourself. What are you doing? Come inside. And then he's just on a spiritual epic Western journey, just running up and down the road in the hail. I'm just screaming into a cup.
There's 100% chance
of weather.
Of weather.
Skye's glad everyone signed a waiver at this very moment right now.
Waivers were signed.
Waivers were signed. It was memorable for sure.
And then we were supposed to record that podcast after the ride home, but I think we all decided
you would have recorded it without me.
I think we decided that it was best to save this.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, definitely. I feel like we say it every time, but one of my top shoots we've done. Just
I think this one was my hands down one of my.
It's definitely top 40.
Yeah,
top 100 for me. Sean.
It was one of the shoots you've ever done. Yeah, I don't know. It's like that stuff, and we talked about this in the interview that we did, kind of there on the river, and it's kind of just like why this all came to be. And I feel like it's why it came to be for you guys, partly why it came for each of us, right? Is that we just like hanging out with cool people and doing cool stuff, and not that we're like super diehard community builders, but we try to extend a little bit of what it means to be what we think Sendero is, right? Which is just having fun. We're not super serious about anything. In fact, we probably should take things more seriously than we do. Yeah, I don't know. But it's the same thing. It's like, okay, let's hang out with the boat crew. Let's show them this there's the water activities, which is the fun recreational kind of mission of the day, but then the wings of what we're doing is just gonna be fun, kind of and how you can go and have this super awesome day on the water paddleboarding almost anywhere in Texas, and then within a hop, skip, and a jump is gonna be a barbecue place or a taco place or some place with a funny story, wild general store owner, go purchase some fine taxidermy or do a fake news report in a weather storm.
It's almost like the river's like an excuse to get there, and then you just see what happens from there.
Memories are made on water trips and Sendero side of things, and that's what you guys do for a living. So it was fun just kind of being with y'all and seeing how you guys kind of think about the water and rivers and trips too, and the boat trips that you guys have been on, and how a lot of what we did here in Texas is everywhere. The stuff that you guys have, the projects that we all are telling us about all over, from, South America to Alaska and everywhere in between. It sounds like that, everywhere water is kind of the meeting point of communities and people and things. So it was a lot of fun.
So well said.
Well said.
I feel like I can't say anything after that.
I blacked out. I'm not sure what happened right there.
You did great.
What happened?
You did so well.
That did
You
good.
know
We're
what's
so proud
not
of you.
cool about that trip?
What?
The 24-hour drive home. Literally, we left at 5 a.m., drove around our Airbnb for 7 hours, and then
Why?
drove straight home.
Why,
Stopping
Sean?
Yeah, why?
because we had to go get my bag at the Airbnb.
Oh, I didn't
Sean,
hear about
don't
this.
go back at Airbnb.
But well, we also did another photo shoot up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah,
We
that's
did.
enough.
We
That's
shot a
enough.
naked hot dude. That's true.
No, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then we drove all the way to Austin, walked into the boat store for 5 minutes, went hi, bye, and then left. So we just were like this, and
It
then
was
drove
5
straight home.
p.m.
So we
You
woke
guys
up at 5 a.m. and got home at 5 a.m.
Y'all survived road fatigue, brick walls falling over on the highway, hailstorms, floods. Y'all
never
had
Oh
a
yeah,
good
the
trip.
guy riding the bike, pulling the
Yeah.
horse.
On the way in, we had a lot of. Yeah,
There was a lot of things
literally.
loved all the
a
updates
brick
we were
wall in a
getting.
town got blown over
and hit a car.
and hit a car, and we were stuck in traffic. And I'm like, texting Mike updates because we're running so late, and I'm like, you're not gonna believe this. I think I'm just pulling excuses out of my ass at this point.
This guy was like, "Please film this so he knows what we're that I'm not
I'm
lying."
not lying. There's a guy pulling a horse on a bicycle. Okay, we have to stop and take videos of this as well. I think I was on the phone with you at that point. I'm like,
Yeah.
I swear
Yeah.
we're trying.
I think they were in Belmead.
Oh, I saw that video. That was super cool.
Yeah,
Super cool. Texas stuff.
Yeah.
Texas things.
just Texas things. Well, this
I'm excited for.
yeah, all the content out of this, the stills that Sean's already sent out are next level, and this has been such a fun project on our end. I hope you guys have enjoyed it too, and I hope everybody that's listening to this again checks it out because it's, I mean, definitely
cool.
my favorite project we've done.
I might actually have to buy my first boat board.
You can't say that. Don't say that. No, definitely. I think our whole crew echoes all of that, and I think it was also just really fun watching the boat team work and operate. Like, you guys are a well-oiled machine from our vantage point, and so you guys. As many bullets as y'all dodged trying to get here and weather and everything else, it ended up being a heck of a trip.
Yeah,
Less dodging bullets, more dodging walls.
that was just one of the mini bullets, but awesome. Well, this has been another episode of Beneath the Surface. Thank you guys for being on the podcast, and
Meow.
and our special guest
Charisse.
Charisse.
Hello, Charisse.
She's got a great poker face.
the poker face.
Thanks for the trip, y'all. We enjoyed it.
Thanks,
you, guys.
Bye.
Till next time.
Bye.